Yeah, 40K lore timeline. Give me more lore. I have my glasses on. I have my smart person glasses on. I am ready. Alright, ikuzo. Thank you everyone for coming. Let's get comfy.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium exists the Empire
it's a bit
of
soft.
Man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and
love all the
incredibly
art.
heavily armored
this
women,
is a battle.
most likely with sweltering abs. And one must know
Oh, the
what
booby.
those abs taste like.
Man, the booby armor is so good. It's so good. Abs. I like how he's going like abs, and I'm like boobies.
And one must know what those abs taste like.
Yeah. Oh my god. Of course. I should have seen it. I should have seen it coming.
My gamer subs flavor is here.
What does that taste like?
Six-pack has arrived.
Sweet six-pack.
A delicious and refreshing cherry pineapple blend.
Ooh.
Play the sound.
Wow. Abs taste that good? Wowie.
Yes, my Bricky's official gamer subs flavor is here. Sweet six-pack, not only in regular energy mode, but also in caffeine-free. The cherry
I've never
pineapple
had one of
flavor
these
is
before.
not the kind of flavor that just smacks you in the face. It is light, it
guess
is refreshing,
caffeine-free
and it's one
option
of
would
those
be
things
nice.
where you sip it and you go,
Also, the
not
art is so
bad.
good.
And next thing you know, you are having your fourth refill the same
That's
day.
some nice art.
And it is available now. Link in the description.
Link
Use
in
code
description.
Bricky for 10% off your entire order. Not just for this,
Yeah,
but
abs.
for everything
Yummy?
you buy. And
could
I'm
be.
not dumb. If you buy any
Slurp
of
some
these
abs.
tubs, regular, caffeine-free of
Yeah.
my sweet six-pack flavor, you will get a Muscle Girl 32-ounce shaker completely for free.
Muscle Girl 32-ounce shaker. Whoa, muscle mommy. It tastes like Sister Battle sweltering abs. Abs yummy. Yes, they could be. My coworker brings these into work, which is hilarious. Your coworker, they're showing it off, you know? Yeah, you should give them compliments if you haven't already.
There are only a couple thousand of those shakers, so get it while supplies lasts. I cannot believe we finally have this, but I told everyone, like, once you find out the flavor, you'll be like, yeah, that tracks, and damn straight does it track. Sweet six-pack available now. Code BRICK.
Okay, so I'm so sorry for being bleach brained every single time, but I feel like the waifu on the purple-haired waifu here, she looks like Yoruichi. I just can't
Link
unsee
in the
Yoruichi
description.
right now. Alright, he's hydrating. He's hydrating for the video. I was thinking that too. Let's go.
The age of knowledge and enlightenment
Alright, here we go.
has ended.
Time for some Warhammer.
The age of darkness has begun.
Hello, welcome. Yeah, Bricky on the thumbnail. We're watching Bricky's videos. I watched him last week as well.
60 million years ago, there existed aliens.
I love
And these
aliens.
aliens lived short, painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These
Okay.
aliens, the Necrontyr, looked up to the stars and found
Necrontyr.
extreme beings of real power. Beings with the ability
Is the
to
volume
create
okay,
life,
by the way, guys?
the old ones
video?
of the galaxy. They asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments. To which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necrontyr gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt. Back to their
That
short,
art is so
painful
good.
lives. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This
Volume is
hell
good?
is
Okay.
not like you and I know
Awesome.
it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place has many names: the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium, and the Ether. But mostly, we just call it the Warp.
The
While you
Warp.
and
I remember that
know of
from last week.
Hell as a place of horrors and punishment, the Warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy. but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul, psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The warp would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths.
A pirate's
Yet,
life for
the sea
me.
is not evil. It simply is, mostly. There are more malevolent beings in those waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods.
Yeah,
Khorne,
the chaos gods.
the god of
I remember.
combat, murder, and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit, a confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact.
Wait,
all
what?
things rot.
I don't get it.
In the end. And Grandfather Nurgle is waiting for you.
I also
with
haven't
open
played
arms.
Genshin.
These gods ruled their respective realm in the warp, sending their many followers against each other in
Khorne.
the great game to be the most powerful of all the gods. So the warp exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal
I know the soundtrack.
world too. They're called Catan, and they
it's Mario?
eat stars.
You think God stays in heaven because
they eat
he
stars?
too lives in fear of what he's created?
These star gods saw the plight of our poor Necrontyr
I
and
remember the Inquisitors destroyed stars, but these guys eat them. What?
how the old ones cast them aside and said, "You know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure." So then they ate all their souls
Yummy!
and turned them into robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the power of an entire species' souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necrontyr, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls.
The Necrons were so
count the number of
silly
kind
for agreeing to
gods
that,
on an
but, you know.
amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned
didn't
on
know it
each
came at a
other,
price, but
fighting
they
one
should have
another
known.
for more chances at glory and power. With this, the leader of the Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited.
My bad. Inquisitors destroy planets, not stars. It's a different Necron technology. Okay. Thanks for thanks for correcting me. Yes, planets and stars are different. True.
And bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken.
He looks like
so
the Grim
Zarek
Reaper.
broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them
Revenge.
away as
Sweet,
basically
sweet
Pokemon
revenge.
to be used as weapons in the future.
I love revenge.
It's Pikachu!
It's the voice.
No! I thought it was
Zarek
Pikachu!
then, with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took
War
an
in
entire
Heaven.
galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the war in heaven, decide to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on
like, "Good
various
night.
planets until the upstart
We're gonna
species of the
recharge."
galaxy died out. And so turns out, when you have a war that lasts tens, hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the warp it's a little wacky. You know,
The war. Oh my gosh, what is this image? Yes, the Catan. I love how they trusted a guy named the Deceiver. Wait, his name was literally the Deceiver? That's so silly. I don't know if it was mentioned and I just missed it, or wow. Can't believe they trusted someone named that. Maybe they didn't understand what it meant, you know? Yeah, they're just a little eepy.
if you had a kiddie pool and it was nice and calm, Khorne is over there splashing about, so you don't really
Khorne's
go in that
having a
direction.
great
Nurgle has
time.
explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction
Nurgle,
either. But
please.
you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out,
I don't
when
know
you
about
add
that.
a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out, a lot of them like to pick a side: Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Khorne. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool, has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Khorne, god of murder and slaughter,
Not the
more
kiddie
powerful.
pool.
A million years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And good God, a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, oh, just the tiniest bit more powerful. Now, entering that kiddie pool
They're
is no
cooking.
longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is
Would you guys enter the kiddie pool? Not willingly, right? it's like I'll probably stay away.
resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
Oh. The sound effect. Oh my god. Takes me back. What a throwback. And an Age of the Elder. The 40k kiddie pool? Hell no. Yeah, hell no. For the 40k universe is just misery. Yeah, the most diabolical kiddie pool in history. Yeah, you thought kiddie pools couldn't get worse. I can't think of a setting whose fans want to live in it less than 40k. Yeah, I don't think 40k is supposed to make us want to be in 40k, you know? Fun fact, one Katanga destroyed, but as a result of its destruction, it created the Flayer virus. Oh no, which turns Necrons into something called Flayed Ones, which hunger for flesh, but they cannot eat. Oh, wow, that sounds like zombies, but worse. Wow. We in the fandom have a joke. We don't wish to join and live in the universe. Of course not. Why would you want to live in this? You kind of just like, you know, from an outsider perspective, it's like, whoa, cool, bloodshed, murder, you know, but like, you don't want to actually be in it. You know, that's a power of fiction, right?
The Eldar are space elves.
Space
They have a lot of
elves.
the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves. Tall, slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you, and a bit stronger on the emotional side. The old ones,
They are?
as I mentioned, could create life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the Orcs, but
Orcs!
they're busy right now.
Unga bunga. Orcs are busy unga bungaing. What game is it?
The Eldar are a particularly psychically powerful race, so they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell.
I love the
This is
meme
called
images.
being a psyker. And basically,
Oh, yeah,
if
the
you want to do
psychers.
cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy
Would you guys want to read minds? I don't know. I think I'd be too scared. That power seems like it can be a heavy burden.
to do that from the warp. Luckily, the Eldar
Yeah,
are
hell
very good at
powers.
handling this without too many negative effects because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue. But Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see, what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that
Awful?
most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and move through it. Faster than light travel? Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the nether is like a pocket dimension? So moving 10 spaces in the nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is. Just much like in the nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else.
Oh yeah.
A purgatory of sorts. A fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy.
They made their own thing?
Took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now. The 21st century. That's right.
What?
While you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time.
Wow. Wow, guys, what am I doing with my life? I could be contributing to ruling the galaxy, and instead I'm watching videos at my desk. Read a VN recently with a girl that could read minds. She went off the deep end, to say the least. Yeah, I feel like it's never good. There's actually a visual novel. Sorry, I'm gonna deviate a bit. There's a visual novel coming out in English soon, and I'm really excited for it because the protagonist is able to read minds, and the UI, I guess, or like the way the game looks is really interesting because when you're talking to other characters in the game, you can see their thoughts like pop up on the sides. So I'm like, how are they gonna like make that into English? Also, it's a revenge game, so just a heads up. So you can see how that's gonna go down. It's not gonna be happy, you know. Anyway, I'm really excited for it. Okay, back to Warhammer.
The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew all under the nose of their elf overlords.
It's Mojika.
At this time,
you got
humans
it.
advanced your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. The age of Terra, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here. And existed between the 21st century all the way until the 15th.
Don't call it Earth, call it Terra. Calling it Earth is cringe.
Millennia. Not much is known about this time. Not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, sought the stars. It's classic. Then came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some, the dark age of technology. This is when humanity reached a new apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity. Individuals with the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. And this was truly the golden age of humanity. And with every golden age, there is a fall. The new human upstarts of the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and prowess. The Eldar were engaging in debauchery. What happens when a species has everything? You can produce unlimited food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers, gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles.
You're gonna get bored
and feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well, you begin to experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species.
They got so bored of having everything that they started to become more evil.
Your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves, remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And let's not forget a very important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing.
Oh.
Brothels is another.
My.
What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next
They need to be entertained. Imagine if you had no problems to solve and had every luxury from birth, but you also had to live for thousands of years. Emuri dayon. Am I interrupting? Well, too bad. Did you know that only like 4% of you guys are subscribed? I would appreciate if you guys subscribe because it would bring me great joy and motivation. Yeah, please subscribe. Thank you. Yeah, I guess you would get bored. You'd be like, this is torture in its own way. So what if they undergooned a god into being? We all make mistakes. They goon too hard. I remember this lore from last week. Yeah, they goon too hard. Not just long-lived, literally immortal. They would die and be reborn with their old memories. Oh, damn, that's kind of crazy, yeah. That's too broken. They needed to be nerfed somehow, right?
You know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits.
Yeah, and then they heighten all their senses, I think.
Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of
I think we're at 25 now.
Excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar saw the writing on the wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence among their peers. Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale. And
listen, peace and happiness is boring. It is. What is the fun in that, especially in the Warhammer 40k universe?
Just like that, Eldar ended. Slaanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence.
Is that a pee-pee? I don't know. I can't tell.
Consuming the souls of 90% of the Eldar population. Those that fled were spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slaanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence. But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slaanesh's birth. The new fourth chaos god, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slaanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy.
Slaanesh does have both, for the record. Oh, so it was a PP. PP and whatever else Slaanesh feels like having.
Making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began to suffer the age of strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages, normally sent through the warp, were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff, but couldn't get food, well, you know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains? And because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people, psychers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kinda attract demons, who then force their way through the Psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The Age of Strife was a catastrophic period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not 1, not 2, but 5,000-year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien and demonic invaders. Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as night worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights in gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars, after radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive.
They became mole people. Yeah, giant robot tractors with guns. Yeah, I love giant robots. I love mechs. The fanfic is called Hellraiser. Oh, what? Never heard of it. The moral planets that protected the Psykers ended up getting the bad ending. She's also my god I worship-ish. You worship Slanesh? Oh boy. Knights are the one addition to the lore that I don't think anyone really has an issue with. Everyone likes giant mechs. Yeah! Of course. Who doesn't like giant cool mechs? Oh, it's a movie. Okay, old horror movie. Gotcha. Yeah, the walking cathedral.
Technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult Mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, or Terra, techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style.
That was Earth / Terra? Oh, damn. Looks like Mars now. Oh, you guys call them the toaster cult? I like that. I'm so glad I have a knight as an allied unit and my Sisters of Battle arm. I love Sisters of Battle. Their designs are really cool too. Someone stole all the water, rip. The oceans kind of went to Narnia. All the oceans dried up because of massive amounts of people. Wow.
Or Terra. Techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore. Until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace.
Who could that be? All right, here we go.
His name was the Emperor.
The Emperor!
He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful Psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he...
He looked so nice before he, I guess, died.
I don't know. Why is he...
That would make sense, actually. Well, he didn't really die, but you know, like he lost his human form, right, eventually. Yeah, look at this guy. He looks so good. Also, it's interesting that in the factions video, I think Bricky started with the Emperor. Now we're talking about the Emperor, like timeline wise, he's relatively recent, I guess. Yeah. Saying he died is heresy. I'm sorry. He didn't die. He's alive. I am not a heretic. Yeah.
Feet tall and the most powerful Psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here, and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind with a treaty signed with the cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions
I like
of
that
himself.
chibi art.
20 of them, 18 of them. I meant gene-crafted sons of the strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size. A real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy.
Oh, wait. The Emperor is really old? The Emperor in 40k is 48k years old? What? Damn. What? How does one live that long? I don't get it. The guy was already thousands of years old before any of this? I see. And yeah, he is currently a skeleton and a life support machine.
Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's
oh my gosh.
Throwing the baby like a basketball.
Where'd the baby going?
The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins
13 Sentinels.
The Great Crusade. A crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus. One of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his Great Crusade, he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel Dorm, the Phalanx with the Imperial Fists. Angron, the
love all the
Barbarian, the very angry with his World Eaters. Fulgrim, the Perfect with his Emperor's children.
Purple,
and
they look nice.
Khan, the Swift, the Stoic, and his white scars. Those were just some of the 18, and one by one his lost Primarch sons were returned to him.
Didn't I use that art on the thumbnail? Wait, no, I didn't.
Just some of the 18.
I was gonna though.
And one by one his lost...
I used different art of the salamanders. Yeah. I remember the green boy. The purple guys aren't nice. Okay, but like, are any of them nice? This is Warhammer 40k. Are any of them really... Can you really call them nice, you know? Emuri dayon! Did you know that the clips here are all taken from my streams? So if you like to catch me real time or see everything, be sure to subscribe to my main channel! Please and thank you! Now sit back and enjoy the rest of the video! Salamanders are nice as long as you're a human, so they're racist. Yeah, I guess by 40k standards, yeah. Maybe we could call them sort of nice. I don't know. Just you know. Yeah, everyone is racist in 40k. That is true. I like purple too. My Sisters of Battle have purple armor. That's so nice. Yeah, I associate Sisters of Battle with red, but I'm guessing like, you know, if you're building a model kits, like you could paint them whatever color you want. Purple sounds really nice on them.
Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them.
Sorry, yeah, the right word is xenophobic. Yeah, everyone's xenophobic. Yeah, in 40k. Yeah, as long as you're not an elder child, you're cool to the salamanders.
Great Crusade saw humanity once again reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But in the years of the 31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Horus Heresy.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos
was he
and
the one that
daddy
betrayed?
issues, all because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly, Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him.
Yeah,
this begins the most pivotal moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it, the Horus Heresy. 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the Eldar, to make fast and light travel significantly easier and safer.
How did he grow so big?
Improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that. literally and figuratively. So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and
Big
powering
boy.
the Astronomicon. Basically a
The Astronomicon. I think we're up to a little over 60 Horus Heresy books now. 60? It's like 60 books now, I think. What? Who's writing these? Is it a group of people or is it one guy? Because holy shit, that is a lot of books. Yeah. Sheesh.
big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus Heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other
a bunch of different
in a
authors? I
bloody
see.
war until it reached Terra
That would make more
itself.
sense.
Horus, unable to break through the
still a lot of
lines
work,
and
though.
with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick.
Emperor, you're weak. You're weak. You can't even kill your own son. How dare he let the emotions take over?
When Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius.
Rip Sanguinius.
I'm sure you've seen this image at some point. The Emperor then said,
Have I seen that image? Let me go back real quick.
I'm sure you
Maybe in the previous video. I don't remember. Yeah. Looks cool though. Yeah.
You've seen this image at some point. The Emperor then said, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, and proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion, killing not only his body, but also his soul. Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon, because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits, slowly dying from his wounds and the strain of powering the Golden Throne.
A skeleton
the only thing keeping him alive is
I know this art. I've seen this one around a lot.
feeding upon the souls of 1,000 psychers every single day. This was 10,000 years ago. We are now...
Oh my gosh, yeah. 10,000 years ago. So is Horus just like, was Horus obliterated? Like he's just gone now? Started at 1,000 souls a day, but we're up to 4,000 souls a day now. He gets hungrier and hungrier.
In the 41st millennium, modern day, Warhammer 40,000.
Oh, we made it! We made it to Warhammer 40,000. Wow, that's a lot of lore. That doesn't matter much. Also, if you want to know how bad Magnus screwed up a series called Mistakes of the Emperor, there's also a neat little self-destruct in the Golden Throne. In case he does truly bite it, it was put by the Vulcan and it will essentially take out all of Terra. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
The Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god.
Was that the Sisters of Battle? I don't know. Hard to tell. Maybe not, maybe not.
The span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their worlds. The theme of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own
It's all doom and gloom.
Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance, the simple possibility that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor and a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st
really
millennia
interesting to me.
is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence. To be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death. And if you even have devotion, there's a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists. There are antagonists.
Being good
but
is boring.
Every faction
Be
is
bad.
some shade of evil. Because playing the bad guys is always more fun. And my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that las gun, soldier. You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die.
Glory.
For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
I mean, it lives up to its name. It's about war. I think we finished. Oh, almost done. Now we got the cool montage. Did we finish it?
Thank you, everyone. I hope I have helped teach you about Warhammer. If you are a brand new person and you want to get a bit more about the world, there are multiple books that do a great job at showing off how the entire universe operates.
Imagine reading.
For the most part, Warhammer is a setting, and often stories are told in that setting with a Warhammer coat of paint. Gaunt's Ghosts is Band of Brothers, but Warhammer. It's honestly one of my #1 recommendations for new people. Assassinorum Kingmaker is an assassin novel involving those night worlds.
Oh my gosh,
this is
literature.
Mission Impossible, but Warhammer. Bloodlines is Blade Runner, but Warhammer. And the list goes on and on. If I had to recommend a brand new novel for a first-time Warhammer enjoyer, these are the 4 I would recommend. Horus Rising, Caiaphas Cain, First and Only Gaunt's Ghost, and Infinite and the Divine.
Is it time I get back into reading? Is this what's gonna do it?
They are all fantastic novels, and they will get you acquainted with the world without needing to know too much. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself a Gamer Subs flavor.
Have you guys read any of those
Enjoy the new sweet 6-pack. And if you're curious and you want, you know, just a little lord, you can find him in the description as well on my merchandise store, orchid8.com. Thank you for watching, and may the God Emperor be with us.
Yeah, thank you, Bricky. Let me go back to the books. I kind of want to...
And the list goes...
I want to pause at the books real quick. Yeah. I read Horus Rising. It was pretty good. Yeah. Infinite and Divine is very, very good. Currently rereading it. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious. And you know, I was thinking yesterday, like with how like my Kohai's Outbreak, they released their debut merch and they released like these really nice looking metal bookmarks. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I want those bookmarks, but I haven't been reading lately. Maybe I'll get it and use it when I read Warhammer. I should really read. I need to exercise my brain a little bit more. Yeah, that was a cool video.